Yeah.
just recently, and she spoke about children's ministry and her books, and it's like you said, it's a word in season because we're going back to school, and you talk about education. What greater education than the Bible, right? And so that's what we need to be feeding our children. And then, like Dave said, that's just information that we want to get out and get out quick.
Yeah.
Speaking of school, you all are educators,
Yes, sir.
aren't you? I think. Are you going back?
Yeah.
What's the plan?
Well, we're back. We are doing distance learning right now, and James and I'm going to go ahead and brag on us. We're doing a good job, but it is not a way to teach kids at this level.
Yeah.
We're using Microsoft Teams, which was designed for adults in the business world who have a lot more acumen and have a lot more ability to navigate through computers and the whatnot and spatial awareness. And we're asking kids ages 11, 12, and 13 to negotiate teams, and it's just not a win. But in California, we're kind of held hostage right now.
It's so bad you had to go get a haircut.
Yeah. Didn't have to go very far.
If I wanted a haircut, which I seldom do, but here in Florida, you just go in and get a haircut. What do y'all do?
In California, you show up. Matter of fact, Supercuts and all those are just out of business now.
Yeah, and the other ones you got to sit outside.
Yeah, you got to sit outside in Easy Up with plastic all around you and wear a mask, and it's hot right now. And so I made the executive decision that I was going to let my wife cut my hair, and that's where I'm at right now. And so if it doesn't look good, well, she's not leaving me anytime soon. So
things are different usually in California. Now, if we could take a little detour, I see that pastor that has challenged the mass assembly, he's taking it on, but he's prevailing.
Love that guy. He's right over the hill from us. And if I could go to his church, I would go there. But I'm abstaining from going because I know he's got already has a large built-in congregation, and they can only allow like 100 people.
It's been a month, but I think we're all, as Christians, whether you're an everyday Christian just trying to walk with Christ, or whether you're a leader in church or a podcaster or something, but at some point you've got to make the decision to obey man's law or God's law, it seems like.
Yeah.
I'm ready to obey God's law. And matter of fact, my high school that I went to years and years and years ago, I'll say I graduated in 1983, became the first school in California. They were a Christian high school, and they defied the governor's edict on going back to school. So they went back to school full time without masks, without social distancing. They're up in the Central Valley in Reedley, California. It's called Emmanuel Christian Academy. And they went back to school, and the Fresno County health department tried to shut them down, and so they sued back, and they got a temporary injunction against the governor and against the Fresno County, whatever that guy is or gal is, and they have a court date for September 15th, but they can still have school. And it's amazing, nobody's died, and we haven't had any kids get sick. And we can be as political as we want, but I'm so glad to see it. I called them today, but they're not even taking messages because they're national news now. And everybody's wanting an interview, and everybody's wanting some time because they are the first school in California, albeit a Christian private school, to stand up to the governor.
I'm so glad that you all are my guest tonight, because you're professional podcasters. And I have I have an announcement. We are now streaming on YouTube. Until now, I haven't heard a word you said, guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
Normally, and you all can probably kind of understand what I'm saying. When you see these pros out there, they've got a staff. They've got a co-host. They've got an engineer. They've got a producer. They've got a publicist. They've got research teams. Not so with Exercise Your Faith and PJNet.TV. It's a one-man band. You ever get caught up in that?
Yeah. Well, you, James, you're the one who's doing all
Oh
social media.
no, well no, it's grassroots and it is teamwork. Me and Dave, we handle everything, and at this point, that's just the way what we're doing. If it continues to grow, obviously, we would love some help, and we hope that happens. So that not for us, because it's like Dave said, it's never been about us. But if that happens and we get to reach more people, then we would love to bring some people onto the staff and help us out. I mean, we're actually currently pursuing that in some avenues, and so that we can reach more people. Like you say, we got great content. We're talking to some amazing people. We want people to hear this. We want to get it out there.
Yeah, and James does an awesome job. He's a social media guy. So if you've ever seen our stuff on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, that's James. No, I mean, seriously, honestly, he really does a great job. I'm in charge of the website, and so we can tell that there are some issues that could be addressed if I was a little bit more savvy with the stuff. But like I say, thankfully, James has been out there, pushing the stuff out each and every day.
Well, Dave's being humble because he actually does all the engineering and he actually puts the shows together. So
I was going to ask.
Yeah, he's that guy. So the show doesn't go out without him. So teamwork.
Yeah.
What's the worst technical problem you've ever had?
Oh, getting that website together. But I've had the other day when I went to turn on the Rodecaster Pro, it didn't come on. And
now what is a Rodecaster Pro? Tell I know what it is, but tell them.
I'm sorry. The Rodecaster Pro is our all-in-one podcasting device, which allows us to record and to project. For instance, we're on here right now with you via the computer, and it's an awesome deal. But the other day I went to turn it on, and it didn't come on, and I started to kind of freak out because we had a guest coming on and James was coming over and we were going to be doing this. And I thought, oh my goodness. And I took a deep breath and said, God, what's going on? And the next time I pushed the button, it came back on. So we're all good.
There we go.
And how many you've got 2 mics in that. How many will it handle?
4.
4? Up to 4? The XLR, USB?
I'm not sure. We can handle a USB mic and we can handle the XLR. I guess those are the ones with the big plugs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can handle 2 more of those.
L and R means left and right. X means ground. It's got that Canon plug. It's the original mic cord. It's balanced, and it will transmit a long distance. USB is another story. But you've got a lot of podcast. I'm going into some of this technical detail, not just because I'm a techno junkie, but because a lot of Christians out there are either doing or they're at least thinking about doing a podcast, and I rejoice. I really do rejoice. And if it took a COVID pandemic to bring us to that point, so be it. What would you say to someone contemplating podcasting? What all do you have to do? How much does it cost? How much trouble is it? Help. If somebody's watching this and we're asking your advice, what would you tell them?
Well, I'll let Dave share the numbers part of it, but I would just say that if God puts it on your heart, man, do it. I mean, God put it on Dave's heart to start, and then we jumped on it, and it's just been such a blessing. I mean, don't get me wrong, it can be challenging some days when we're dealing with technical things or scheduling and stuff like that, but it is such a blessing. I mean, I feel so recharged when we listen to our guests and hear their stories. It just makes my day. And so I would say to anybody who's thinking about it, regardless of what your content is in terms of how you're going to present, go for it. Just try it. I mean, and if you want to reach out to us, we'd love to share. I know Dave is eager to help share about the technical side of it. So, go do it.
Yeah, you can get in and out for under $1,000 for mics and the podcaster and the everything ready to go. If you already have a computer, which most of us already do, I'm using a 2014 Mac as my base model that handles everything. But like James says, this is so good. If I could just say this, is that like the other day when we talked to Leanne Mancini. So Leanne, if you're listening, I'd been in kind of a funk because school had started and I'm frustrated and I don't like wearing a mask and I have a problem with it and it sometimes gets on my nerves and I'm tired of COVID and I want to get back to life. And so I was having kind of a pity party, and we got to talk to Leanne at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And by 9 o'clock, I was on fire. And so this podcast is not about, it's like James and I get so much more out of this. I mean, I get goosebumps when I talk to people,
Yeah.
and it's just like, man, you're talking to me, and yet though we're sending this message out now, the podcast is now reaching 6 continents. We're on every single continent except Antarctica, and we're in I don't know how many different states we have listeners. We have people in Iran that listen. We have people in Botswana, Nigeria, Hong Kong. I mean, they're all over the place, and it's like, how did they get here?
Yeah.
How did they get here? Because we started out with just his wife and my wife as listeners. We had no built-in group.
They weren't really listening.
No, they weren't. They were just being, what do you call it? Nice?
Yeah, being nice.
Yeah, they were being nice.
Yeah,
And-
kind of like us mowing the grass, taking the garbage out. Yeah. Well,
yeah. So God is so great. God is so
God is
good.
good.
Yeah.
folks, we're out of time. Oh gosh, I love it. Dave.
Yeah.
James, I'm proud of your brothers. I really am.
Thank you.
You're speaking to me because, you feel tired sometimes. You're fatigued, you're frustrated, you're aggravated. And then you just get around other Christians and start doing the ministry and start projecting the gospel. And all of a sudden, you realize you weren't really tired. You just weren't inspired.
Right.
And a lot of times that's what it gets down to. And you all are inspiration and a source of power. Sorry, I was kind of in absentia, but we weren't going out on YouTube. We were going out everywhere but YouTube. And YouTube is the conduit that comes back into our chat room. So our live fellowship is being very fellowshipy without any entertainment. So fortunately, you all are good enough. You could sustain your own monologue or duologue while I did some engineering, and we pulled the bunny out of the hat. Guys, I love you. I just congratulate you on your success, and I know that God has great things in store. As good as you think it is now, it's only
That's
going
what
to
we're
get
hoping
better.
for, and we're hoping that more and more people will get the message.
Amen.
Yeah.
You bet.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, well, folks, that was Dave and James together,
Thanks, sir.
known as Exercise Your Faith. You heard them right here on pjnet.tv. Sorry for the technical issues. I was very distracted, but thank God that it was Dave and James, because they can carry the water on their own. Folks, the fun is only beginning. At the bottom of the hour each week on Wednesday night, we have Michelle Midlock Adams, or her proxy, whoever she appoints, depending on how busy she is. She's planning on being here tonight. We're looking forward to that at the bottom of the hour. In the meantime, I got to leave, and I want to ask 2 questions. I'd like you to ask these to yourself. First, what is the boldest thing that you have ever done for Jesus Christ? And then secondly, when was that? Folks, you have been the spectator of quite a bit of energy and passion tonight, but God did not call us to be spectators. He called us to make disciples. To do that, we have to be bold. So it is my hope that we all will never be satisfied with either answer.